Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very accomplished professional from Adelaide, Australia, Mr. Darren Fleming. Darren, welcome to the show.
G'day, Ash. Good to be here.
Thank you. Darren is a speaker, trainer, and author of Mindset Mastery, and he's a mindset guru. So, Darren, tell me a little bit about your own journey and how you transitioned from a career in sailing to become a mindset guru.
Yeah. Great question. Ever since I was a young kid, I was always a self-help junkie. I've read all the books. I reckon I did my first, sort of You Can Do It course when I was still at high school.
Mm-hmm.
I read all the books, went all the courses, but yet I wasn't progressing. In my sailing. I tried to get the good attitude, and I found that, if something small went wrong on the way to the sailing, it ruined my whole day. I wouldn't listen to the radio because I'd get the wrong song stuck in my head. And I got to the point where I realized that all of the self-help books come from a deficit perspective. That is, you're not good enough. You have to follow these habits. You have to have this level of discipline to succeed. And I reckon habits and discipline are a cage that keep freedom at bay. And I went on my journey and I realized it's actually about taking things away. Stop doing things. You're good enough as you are, but there's things getting in the way.
Right.
And that's what Mindset Mastery is about. How do you take away the things that mentally stop you achieving?
Very interesting. So help me understand the key principles behind your mindset mastery methodology and how this can help individuals and companies.
Yeah. So mindset, what is mindset about? Is it about positive thinking of, you won't get there with that attitude? I don't think so, because what that means is your attitude is wrong. Is it about denial of, oh, well, that's happened, just move on? No, because that's operating in denial. Or, the idea of encouragement, you can do it. That's probably really bad advice, because if you tell me I can do it and I still don't think I can, it makes me even more wrong. To me, mindset is the noise that is going on inside your head while you're trying to do life. And what Mindset Mastery does is it has the process of deactivating that noise in your head. So you're not fighting your inner voice. You're not fighting that inner critic. Think of Mindset Mastery as a set of noise-cancelling headphones for your brain.
Very interesting. And Darren, what are some of the misconceptions people have about mindset and its impact on performance?
Yeah. A lot of people think mindset lives in their head. It doesn't. Mindset lives in our body, because you're going on to do something that is challenging, or you're facing a struggle. Maybe you're in sales and you're trying to get more sales and you're going through a rough patch. And what we end up saying is, oh, I don't feel well about this, or this doesn't feel good. That is taken to be the mindset. Your mindset is not right, but we're using words of feel. So it's actually something in the body. So one of the biggest misconceptions people have is they try to use affirmations, I can sell, I can sell, I can sell, to change how they feel. And it's never going to work.
Right.
It's like using, it's just like using a hammer to cut a piece of wood. It's just not going to work.
Okay. And what role does ongoing education and learning play in maintaining a healthy mindset?
I like to look at it from a different perspective. A healthy mindset wants to go out and learn, and wants to go out and play, and wants to be educated. So someone who has a healthy mindset is open to doing those things. It's not a case of I am learning, therefore I have got a good mindset, because you can learn and that's not a sign of it. Someone who has a good mindset is curious. They want to know, Why is this not working? Why is that wrong? Why did I do that? A good mindset is open to different ideas. It's open to understanding that potentially I can change to make my environment better.
Very interesting. When you do a lot of work with individuals and organizations, what are some signs that you have picked up that show that an organization or an individual may be in need of a mindset transformation? And how can organizational leaders identify these signs?
Yeah. So we've got two things there. We've got the organization, and then we've got the individual. So at an organizational level, we hear terms like, oh, we need to change our culture. Or the culture of that team is not good. And what ends up happening is within it, say for argument's sake, a business unit, you can tell that there is a mindset problem because there's lots of friction. There's people battling against each other. They're not working as a team. Teams are missing goals. You've got performance management issues. And when you mention these things, you go, man, that's pretty much every organization in the world. Every organization has performance issues. Every time you open LinkedIn, there's another guru saying we've got to manage culture better. And it's true. But the culture of an organization is nothing more than the collective mindset of the individuals. You and I as individuals, we can't think greater than our emotional mindset. So if we're angry, we can't think of peace, happiness, and joy. If you're a frustrated salesperson, you haven't had any sales for a while and the pressure's coming onto you from the boss, when you call the next prospect, what's going to happen is that prospect will pick up, either overtly or subtly, that you're not in the right way, you're not in the right mindset. Now, that happens because we send across the wrong energy, or we as a salesperson with a poor mindset, we say the wrong thing. And because of that, what ends up happening is we don't get our message across. We can't get the message that we want to, and then we suffer.
And for my viewers and listeners, could you give me an example of an organization that you may have worked at, no names, of course, where your intervention actually made a difference?
Yeah, there's a massive, one of Australia's largest companies, actually. They brought me in to work with mindset mastery for one small team. And they've gone, wow, this is powerful. Let's move it out to across the cyber team. And what they saw, the leaders of this team can look at individuals and go, you're applying the mindset mastery strategy. You're not, because the performance is through the roof or just remaining status quo. What the individuals are reporting is greater focus, less stress, less sweating the small stuff, and an ability to actually see 2 or 3 steps ahead and know, okay, this is going in the right direction, so they can keep going, or they can go, actually, we're heading towards a problem. Let's correct it now before it becomes a big issue.
And what would you say are some practical steps leaders can take to interpret their brain-body instrument?
Yeah. First of all is to understand that mindset lives in your body, lives in your brain-body instrument. That's how we interpret it. This is often hard for people to hear, but we are 100% responsible for everything that we experience. So if you're in a job that's hard work, that you've got crappy colleagues that make your life difficult, you have created 100% of that. There's people listening or watching this going, no, Darren, you don't get it. I'm doing my job. It's that person. It's Barbara in accounts. She's annoying me. She gets on my go. Or it's the customer. I'm doing the right thing, but the customers aren't buying. If you look at the situations, whether it be at work, personal, social, and analyze what isn't going well, you find there is one common factor, and that is you. There's a great book called The Kybalion, the ancient wisdom of Hermes Trismegistus from ancient Egypt, and he talks about as above, so below, as below, so above. And the other version of that is as within, so without, as without, so within. We create our own world. The benefit of this leads me on to number 2 is if we create our own world, we have the power to create a new world. How wonderful is that?
Absolutely.
Like, if you don't like Barbara in accounts, if she gets on your goat every single month, it's nothing to do with her. It's all about you. So what we do with Mindset Mastery is we deactivate that programming within you that causes you to think Barbara is out to get you. So mindset is in the body. We create 100% of our own reality all of the time, which means 3, we have the power to change it. Which, when you think about it, that's awesome, because we can change what's going on around us and for us.
What a great response. Thank you. My next question, Darren, is how can leaders foster a culture of positive mindset and resilience?
Yeah. So once again, it's realizing that the organization I work in, if they're not resilient, or maybe that's something to do with you as the leader. I've got resilience, they don't. And what we do is we say, toughen up, harden up. No, that doesn't work, because if you tell someone that their mindset is wrong, what happens is mentally they say, stick it up your jumper, I'm going to keep doing the way that I am. So people fight back, it's not unreasonable. So what can leaders do? The old story of the fish rots from the head down. So get your head right, get your mindset right. Then allow enough space for people to understand that they create their world from their own vantage point, and show them how to deactivate their brain body instrument. The third thing is, and this gets so hard in organizations, and I get why it's hard, but it makes it difficult for everyone. Some people don't belong in your organization. They are awesome people. They are fantastic staff for somebody else. And individuals, whether you're management, whether you're frontline staff, once again, if we understand that we create 100% of our own reality, if I don't like this job, I have the ability to change and go elsewhere. Oh, but Darren, the market's tight and there's not enough jobs. Well, if we go back to the previous point, if we create our own world, there actually is. Now, this is not magical thinking. This is based on science. It's based on, if you go back through Buddhism and Hinduism and many, many, many different philosophies, it talks about how as above, so below, as below, so above.
Well said.
And we create the world that we live in.
Absolutely. Well said. My next question is that what role do Eastern philosophies play in your methodology, and how do they contribute to improving mindset? And you just very briefly referred to Hinduism and Buddhism as well.
Yeah. What role do they play? A massive role. I went to Oxford and studied philosophy there, and I was super disappointed that the only philosophy, Eastern philosophies they studied were Buddhism, and that was only for like an hour and a half lecture.
Right.
Like, hello.
Amazing.
So that was kind of disappointing. But I draw on a lot of the Buddhism, Hinduism, as I mentioned earlier, the Kybalion, Hermes Trismegistus. But if you look at all of these philosophies, they're all saying the same thing. They all say it in exactly different ways, but it's all the same. The Buddha came along 2,500 years ago and said, the only truth you will ever know is that which you experience in your body.
Correct.
Then Christ came along 500 years later and said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
Mm.
Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Lao Tzu, Taoism, said, wise is a man who knows someone. Enlightened is the man who knows himself.
Mm.
They have all said the same thing. Know thyself.
Yeah.
So what do we do in the West? We go, well, I'm a Sagittarius, I like red wine, and my favourite colour is blue.
Yes.
No, it means know your brain-body instrument.
Correct.
When you get to know that, you get to know thyself, and then you can change your world.
And you're so right. You spoke of Buddha. I'm saying even 5,000 years before the Buddha, we have the Gita and Krishna, which basically says Brahman, and which translates into I am the only reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're so right. Absolutely. Well, you picked this up very, very well. Thank you. My next question for you, Darren, is what are the common mental frictions and noises that people experience in their work, and how do you address these?
Yeah, there's three big ones, the big three to keep an eye out for. The first mental friction noise is imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough.
Yep.
I do a lot of work with former Army Special Services. And these are the people who have gone behind enemy lines to rescue people and, perform amazing feats. They leave the army and then they go work in civilian world, and they don't even have enough confidence to stand in front of the room and introduce themselves. What's that? So imposter syndrome is, in essence, I'm not good enough. So that's number one. Number two is blaming. Okay, so you're not good enough. Well, if you were better at what you did, I would not have to work late or whatever it is. So I'm not good enough, imposter syndrome. You're not good enough, blaming. And then the third is whinging. Oh, man, they're making me work late. I've got to do this report. These three big ones are the signs that there is a problem with your own mindset. Because what you are having is a craving or an aversion for something different to that which is.
Very good. Great response. My next question is, I have time for 2 or 3 more questions for you. How has technology and the digital age impacted the way we approach mindset and performance improvement?
The way, so there's so much in this. Oh, man, we could talk for an hour on this alone. I think technology has been the greatest detractor from mindset.
Okay.
So if you look at things like social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that sort of jazz, no one posts on Facebook and Instagram what a terrible day they're having. Everyone posts, lovely lunch, awesome friends, yay. And people are sitting at home looking in their own backyard, comparing it to someone's curated life. And that's where they start thinking, I'm not good enough. It's imposter syndrome. Then we start blaming, well, the reason I'm not like this is because of you. So that's how technology is hurting it. The other way that technology is hurting it is there is a lot of apps out there that claim to talk about helping people through setting up their mindset, and really they're just taking money. They don't actually do a lot. You can get the daily affirmations. I am good. Yes, I can. Woo, woo, woo. That's not, because that's all mental. It's not going to adjust the body aspect of it.
Fascinating. My next question for you, Darren, is that what are some future trends you foresee in the field of mindset coaching and corporate well-being?
Yeah. Corporate well-being is going to be a big thing for the next 5-10 years. I reckon even longer. And so coming out of COVID, In Australia, there's the big whinge of, I don't want to go back into the office. And part of that is because people have realised that, like, working in the office kind of sucks, and I'd rather be at home, and maybe I didn't have a right career choice, and, you know, I don't want to have to go back into the office and be reminded of all this. In Australia, companies are now legally liable for the mental health of their employees. So if you have staff on site who are suffering stress or burnout, as a director of a company, you are now legally liable for that. Last week in Australia, industrial manslaughter laws were amended and passed through our federal government, which means directors of companies are now going to be liable for any death in particular, but other things as well. And you're just a silent director of a company, it doesn't matter, you are now liable. So this is going to be huge going forward for the next 5-10 years. I mean, look at what's going on in the US. We don't know what's going to happen with the election. And then, you know, we've got wars starting around the world, left, right, and centre. This is the quicker we can realise that we can get onto our own mindset and control our own mindset, the quicker we're going to be ourselves right. And that's all we need to focus on. As the saying goes, we won't have peace in the world until every individual has peace in their mind.
Very well said.
All you have to do is your own.
Correct. And my last question to Darren, and this is for the many people who will listen to our conversation. Based on your deep understanding of mindset, what would you say are 3 lessons you would like our viewers and listeners to take away?
Yeah. Your mindset is in your body. Number 1. So pay attention to what's going on in there. Number 2, you are 100% responsible for everything in your life in all areas. So, yeah, your partner may annoy the bejeebies out of you. You actually have the ability to change that. And it's so much easier to change than you think. And I've spent last number of years teaching people how to do that.
Yeah.
The third thing is you have the power to change it, which is wonderful, because what it does is it steps us out of victim mindset into a position where we go, okay, I can change this. I can have the life that I want.
Well said. And on that note, Darren, and your 3 wonderful lessons, the mindset is in your body. Second, you said you are 100% responsible for your own life. And third one, which is so important, so powerful, you have the power to change it. Thank you, Darren, for speaking to me about so many different aspects of mindset. I think I picked up many interesting points for myself in this incredible discussion on mindset. Thank you also for talking to me about so many impacts mindset has because of learnings from Eastern philosophies and from ancient scriptures from around the world. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.